Hi, I'm Ryan with Thorworx. Today, we're going to be taking apart our Thorworx MIG-200 welder, show you what's inside, and compare it to other MIG-200 and MIG-250 welders side by side. Based on the higher number alone, you might expect the MIG-250 to have the most substantial power components and cooling system inside. And because the other machine is also labeled MIG-200, you might expect it to be built similarly to the Thorworx. But an amp rating does not tell you everything about how a welding machine is built. So today, we're opening all three, comparing the major internal components side by side, and letting the hardware speak for itself. Most welding machines look pretty similar from the outside. A screen, a few knobs, a torch, some cables, and usually a big amp number on the front. But a welding machine does not prove itself by the sticker on the outside. It proves itself when it gets hot, when the arc is running, when the cables are carrying current, and when the machine is actually being used. That is where Thorworx is different. We focused on the parts most buyers do not see at first, but welders eventually feel. The power components, the capacitors, the heat sinks, the cables, the clamp, the torch, the holder, the full current path. This is not fake hype. This is about building a better equipped machine in its class, with upgrades that make sense in real-world welding. Let me show you what we changed and why it matters. Quick safety note, do not open a welding machine unless you are qualified to do it safely. Large capacitors can hold dangerous voltage even after the machine is unplugged. This video is for education and comparison only. Inside this type of welder, three parts are especially important for this comparison. The heat sinks manage heat. The capacitors help keep the internal power steady, and the IGBTs control the power. These parts do not work alone, but they are important parts of a machine built for steady operation and reliability. Before we jump into the comparison, let's take a quick look at the main components on this board. I'll show you where each one is, explain what it does, and why it matters. That way, when we compare all three machines side by side, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. Let's start with these heat sinks. These aluminum pieces are heat sinks. Think of them like radiators. The power parts make heat while the machine is running. The heat sinks pull that heat away and give the fan a larger area to cool. When the machine is welding, power is moving through the internal components and heat is being created. If that heat is not managed properly, the machine can become stressed. On many budget machines, cooling is one of the first places corners get cut. Smaller heat sinks, less aluminum mass, less room to absorb and transfer heat. Thorworx uses oversized heat sinks because heat control is not optional in a welding machine. Better cooling does not make the machine magic, but it helps the machine stay more controlled under demanding use. When you combine larger heat sinks with better selected IGBTs and 105-degree capacitors, you are not relying on one single upgrade. You are building a better internal system. These black power parts are IGBTs. The name sounds technical, but their job is simple. They are very fast electronic switches. They control how power moves through the machine so the welder can produce and control its output. A lot of listings simply say IGBT inverter and move on. That does not tell the buyer much about what is actually inside. With Thorworx, we went with Fairchild on semi-IGBT components. That matters because Fairchild is a recognized semiconductor name, not a mystery part with no name behind it. Does that mean the machine can never fail? No honest brand should say that. But it does mean we chose a more trusted power component for one of the most important jobs inside the machine. In welding, power control matters. If the power stage is weak, the whole machine suffers. If the power stage is better selected, the machine has a stronger foundation. These large round cans are capacitors. Think of them as quick electrical storage tanks. They charge and release energy very quickly. That helps the machine keep its internal power steadier as the welding load changes. Thorworx uses 3,300 microfarads capacitors marked 105 degrees Celsius. Here is why this matters. Welding machines get hot inside, that is normal. But heat is one of the biggest enemies of electronics. A lower rated capacitor can become stressed faster in hot environments, especially during longer welding sessions. The higher temperature rating helps the machine tolerate hot internal conditions. The dual setup also helps spread the electrical workload better than relying on a weaker or smaller setup. This is one of those upgrades you may not notice when the machine is sitting on a table, but it matters when the machine is actually working. Now let's compare the Thorworx MIG-200 board with the another MIG-200 board. This is the most direct comparison because both machines are labeled as 200 amp MIG welders. At first glance, the first thing you notice is the board size. This MIG-200 board is noticeably smaller. Now, board size alone does not automatically prove performance, but in a welding machine, space matters because the board has to carry power components, cooling hardware, capacitors, transformers, rectifiers, and wiring. Next, look at the heatsinks. The heatsinks on this MIG-200 board are smaller compared to the Thorworx board. Heatsinks are important because they pull heat away from the power components. Welding machines create a lot of heat inside, so better cooling hardware gives the machine more thermal support under load. Now let's look at the IGBTs. On the Thorworx MIG-200, we use Fairchild IGBTs, so the power switching components are clearly identifiable. On this MIG-200 board, the IGBTs are generic or not clearly traceable from the markings. That does not automatically mean they cannot work, but it does mean there is less transparency. With Thorworx, we can actually identify the component and know what is being used. Now for the capacitors. This generic MIG-200 board does use 105 degrees Celsius capacitors, which is good, but they are 2,200 microfarad. The Thorworx MIG-200 uses 3,300 microfarad capacitors, also rated at 105 degrees Celsius. So the temperature rating is the same, but the capacitance is different. In simple terms, the 3,300 microfarad capacitors in the Thorworx board give the power section more buffering capacity compared to 2,200 microfarads. That helps support smoother internal power handling under welding load. So when we compare both 200 amp boards side by side, the difference is not just one part. The Thorworx board has a larger layout, larger heat sinks, identifiable Fairchild IGBTs, and larger 3,300 microfarads, 105 degrees Celsius capacitors. That is the point of this teardown. Two machines can both say MIG-200 on the outside, but once you open them up, the internal build choices can be very different. But why not go a step further and see how it compares to a MIG-250 welder? Wouldn't that be interesting to see? All right, back to the studio. Now we're moving to the generic MIG-250. On the outside, it carries the higher number, so naturally, you'd expect some serious hardware inside. But this is why we open machines instead of just reading labels. The screws are coming out, the cover is coming off, and once the board is exposed, we'll compare it directly with the Thorworx MIG-200. Now we have the MIG-200 welder beside the Thorworx MIG-200. At first glance, this comparison is interesting because the board sizes are almost identical. So even though this machine carries a higher 250 amp label, the main power board is almost identical to the Thorworx MIG-200 board. But board size by itself does not tell the whole story. What matters is how that board is built, what components are used, and how the machine manages heat and current. First, let's look at the heat sinks. Heat sinks also look identical at first, but Thorworx board still has slightly larger heat sinks. That's crazy. You would expect a welder rated at 250 amps would have higher specs. Anyways, let's look at the IGBTs. On this generic MIG-250 board, the IGBTs are not clearly traceable in the same way. That is one of the reasons we talk about our internals. We do not just say IGBT inverter and leave it there. We show what is actually being used. Now let's look at the main capacitors. This is where the comparison gets very clear. Both boards are using 3,300 microfarad capacitors, so in terms of capacitance, they are the same, but the difference is the temperature rating. The generic MIG-250 board uses 3,300 microfarad capacitors rated at 85 degrees Celsius. The Thorworx MIG-200 uses 3,300 microfarad capacitors rated at 105 degrees Celsius. So, we are not claiming more capacitance here. The difference is heat rating. A welding machine naturally builds heat inside. So, when the capacitance is the same, a 105 degrees Celsius rated capacitor gives more rated temperature headroom than an 85 degrees Celsius rated capacitor. One of our goals with the Thorworx lineup was to build machines around strong component choices, not just a number printed on the front. That's why, even in this comparison with a MIG-250 welder, you can see upgrades in the cooling hardware, capacitor temperature rating, and IGBT department. Another thing we care about is heat testing. A lot of machines look good on paper when the conditions are easy, but real welding does not always happen in a perfect room at a perfect temperature. People weld in garages, shops, summer heat, dusty spaces, and areas with poor airflow. That is why 40 degrees Celsius testing matters. It gives buyers a more realistic look at how the machine behaves under hotter working conditions. Now that all three main power boards are on the table, you can see why we wanted to open these machines up. From the outside, welding machines can look very similar, but once you open them, the differences start showing up. Board layout, heatsink size, capacitor rating, IGBT choice, rectifier section, and the overall power design. This is why Thorworx is comfortable showing what is inside. We did not want to build a mystery box welder, and the internal upgrades are only one part of the story. The welding current does not stop at the board. It still has to travel through the cables, the torch, electrode holder, the workpiece, the ground clamp, and back to the machine. That is why the Thorworx MIG-200 also comes with 35mm full copper welding cables, a 400 amp rated copper brass ground clamp, a 300 amp rated electrode holder, and an upgraded 24 kD MIG torch. So, we did not just upgrade one part and call it a day. We focused on the whole system: power control, heat handling, current flow, ground contact, torch feel, and the parts you actually use every time you weld. That is what makes Thorworx different, and this same attention to the complete system carries across our lineup. The Thorworx MIG-140 and ARC-200 use the same upgraded approach to internal components and external accessories, with the MIG-140 paired with 25mm full copper welding cables. Now you've seen how machines with similar labels can be built very differently on the inside. We hope this teardown helped you understand which components matter and why. Follow Thorworx for more honest comparisons, welding education, and real-world testing.